Hey, YouTube family, this is Emanuel here. So excited to continue with this amazing journey in regards to the body code book. For those of you who are loving these commentary, please comment below. I want to know that I'm adding value to you. Hopefully, you're gaining something to be able to increase your knowledge. And again, it's a learning process for me too. Sometimes I learn obviously things that are new and I am always adding to my new files that I've reached maybe to a conclusion a year or 2 years ago. Sometimes when I do a session, I'll modify a knowledge that I have and then kind of adapt and be like, oh, I guess I could have done it this way, So I'm always looking to perfect myself and to be a better person, to be a better practitioner, and to increase my intuition. And it's a journey. So I just want to let you know that if you're someone who just figured out how to do muscle testing, you're like, I have no idea if I could even do this. Just know that like it took a journey to get to a point where you feel very comfortable muscle testing, very comfortable to where you're like, this may or may not be the reason, and to like kind of make your mind blank while you're muscle testing. So it's kind of interesting. It's kind of I guess my greatest advice is learn as much as you can, but when you muscle test, forget as much as you can. I'll say it again. When you look at this book, learn as much as you can, but then when you get to muscle testing, pretend like you know nothing. It's almost like I said, being a chiropractor may not even, might be tougher for you because you are already coming to certain conclusions, while a person who's a 14-year-old doing muscle testing comes to no conclusions. They might get better results than the chiropractor who's been trained in their mind that, oh, this is probably this, or this is probably that. They're already making connections when that kind of needs to go away. As Dr. Brad once said, that a toe nerve could be causing you a headache. Anything can cause anything. Again, there's some unprogramming that needs to happen as you move along. So anyway, we're talking about pathogens here. And obviously there's different kinds: fungal, mold, bacteria, virus. In the first body code system, maybe you guys were there when it first came out, you actually had some suggestions of what you can use. So it can be like use neem leaf, use VRM1, VRM2, VRM3 for different parasites that you were dealing with. And they kind of took it all out. So now you have the new app. It has no recommendations. It just says go see a medical, like a health, medical person to assist you with dosages or things you need to take. But it doesn't recommend that to you. It just says release it, swipe it out, have the intention to remove the physical form and the life energy of that parasite or that pathogen, and that's it. And then, for me, for example, I have someone that I recommend. His name is Scott Werner. Look up Scott Werner at St. George. That's my guy. He's helped out my wife with a detox program, with me with a detox program for fungal and parasites. I use him a lot. I'll even put his info below down there. And but yeah, he's a medical medium. He's had 5 near-death experiences, has acquired clairs so that he can be able to see you on Zoom and say, hey, this is the exact type of parasites you have. Doesn't even need a muscle test. He just can know intuitively what you have going on there, bacterial or pathogen. And it's just, he has amazing gifts, and so I trust him to send clients over there to him. Again, his name is Scott Werner. He's in St. George. I trust him with my life. I've probably sent over 13 to 14 clients to him that needed some form of detox. Instead of me muscle testing, you need neem leaf, I let him muscle test what they need. And he usually corroborates with them that, yeah, Emanuel is right. You have this fungal infection, or you do have a bacterial infection. If you do have a person, like an herb person, or if you're a practitioner, why not have a go-to herb person that can maybe assist your clients to even have them do even better? And so the next thing is, it says here on page 114, most as humankind devoted more attention to improving public health through the use of better sanitation. So it starts talking about how pathogens are everywhere, but now we're aware of them more and more. And it does say here that most infectious organisms can be considered to be opportunistic, which means that they will take an opportunity if they are given one. For example, if your immune system becomes depressed, you'll be more likely to develop an infection that may ultimately proliferate. So I want to talk about that. If you're depressed, you are going to have more likelihood of an infection ultimately proliferate. Um, your emotions can dictate your immune system. It really has the biggest cause for immune system disruption is stress. Now, if you do body code sessions every single week, your stress level should be going down. Why? Because you're less reactive to certain situations. Probably less idea intolerances, which cause stress, anxiety, overwhelm, and less idea allergies, which cause you to be more triggered. So as you're healing, the end game, I always tell clients, the end game would be for you to be like James Bond, like calm under pressure. Calm, cool, and relaxed and under pressure. And if you do that, then your immune system continues to maintain its highest levels. If you don't do that, and you're a very reactive person, then yeah, you're going to affect your immune system, and the immune system is doing fight or flight. A boss and a bear both have the same effect to your immune system. It really causes the sympathetic nervous system to go off, the parasympathetic nervous system to not do what it's supposed to do, which is the coolant. All that stuff starts messing up, and then all of a sudden your body's not functioning properly because it's saying you don't need to eat right now. Let's just shut down certain areas of your body and let's just send blood to your muscles because you are in fight or flight or freeze mode. And so really, really key that when you clear your heart wall, your heart's sending mixed messages to, if you have a heart wall, you're sending mixed messages to different parts of your body, your organs, your glands, and it's not working at its optimum level. So I've done this where I've included the heart wall. Whenever someone has any sort of disease or health issues or pathogens, I always put the heart wall in there because the heart wall could remove some blocks for the heart to increase the immune system, and the immune system can push this pathogen out, So that's very, very key. Also, it talks about fungal infections, page 144. I did know that, there are some reasons why you might have a fungal infection. One of the major reasons is over consuming sugar. Also, if you have antibiotics. Now, not just one antibiotics prescription. Typically, according to my mom and my father, who are doctors, it's multiple times you're using it. And over a frequency of a lot of antibiotics being used, you could create a fungal infection in the body. So, and my mother, who is very intelligent, oncologist, said, antibiotics is the last thing you want to use. And later on, it actually kind of explains why. Page 145, it talks about how fungal infections like candidus will tend to create anxiety or panic attacks, abdominal gas or bloating, brain fog, cravings for sugar, starchy foods. So I worked with someone who had, anxiety. His anxiety went down from a 9 to a 4 after clearing all his heart wall. But then I muscle tested. There's something else giving him anxiety. He had not an energetic fungal infection, but a physical one. And I believe at that time, I didn't have an herbalist that I can contact. So I did recommend neem leaf, which is something that was in the old body code. Sometimes I would go to the old body code and say, is there anything that would really assist this person? And it was a neem leaf, in which I used I'm trying to remember the brand, Organic India. Organic India was the brand. He got it from Amazon, used it, and his anxiety went way down to like a 1 or a 0. And he was like, I barely have any anxiety right now. So a pathogen can cause anxiety when in our minds we think it has to be trauma from our past, right? So just know that you may have clients that have a pathogen that's causing their emotional symptoms, anxiety and panic attacks. Interesting enough, on that first paragraph, it talks about how it may be an underlying reason for alcoholism. And I remember I'm working with somebody in Europe, and I won't mention her name, but I remember mentioning that she does have a fungal thing. And if you don't remove that, it's harder for you to stay off of alcohol because you crave sugar, you crave bread, you crave starch, and you crave alcohol. And maybe it's not like it's some real addiction. It's really just the fungal infection is trying to eat. It's trying to, you have to feed it, but if you starve it, you don't give it what it wants, it dies automatically. That's why, for those of you who are interested, on Heal, I'm going to create a new topic. We have topics in Heal. You can talk about stuff. And I'm going to name one just pathogens. And on there, I'm going to put in Dr. Brad's fungal list. So I got this a while back. I don't know who I got it from, but I got an email that says it's about fungal infections. And so that well, what not to eat and what to eat. It's like on the column side, left column, right column. And so whenever I did give neem leaf to someone and I recommended to them like how many to take for how long, then something that I also did, I said, hey, make sure that you don't eat these foods. And I can even muscle test to see how long to not eat these foods, because otherwise you're kind of having a reverse effect. You're getting rid of it energetically by taking the neem leaf and also removing it through the body code, but then you're eating things that are feeding it. So it's kind of like you're going back and forth and getting better. So if they were really strict, and I have clients that were very strict, like militant, that says, okay, I'm going to change my diet. I'm not going to eat these things, and I'm going to consume the neem, and I'm going to energetically remove it. And they got better, way better, and it actually followed through. Sometimes I'll muscle test how long they have to take the neem leaf for. Sometimes I muscle test how long they can't consume something, for a period of time. Okay, now coconut oil. This is really, really interesting. Coconut oil, I used to, in my mind, say it's made for topical, and it says here you can even take it, consume it. Now I knew that. I knew you could take it to consume, but I didn't know that it could be a remedy. Like, would that benefit you if you took it orally? So now, see, I learned something new. I'm going to muscle test. Do you need to take it orally, or do you need to put it on your skin, or both, and muscle test to see what it is? And that's something that you can muscle test as well. So I will do that. If you want this fungal list, what to eat, what not to eat, is created by Dr. Brad. Go join Heal, haveempathyandlove.com. Again, it's haveempathyandlove.com. Look for topic section, and I'm going to put one up tomorrow maybe called Pathogen. And in that will be a list that you can download it on your computer, download it on your phone, and it's something that I typically give clients who are dealing with fungal infection. Also, the mold versus fungus, page 146. It talks about die-off symptoms, the last two paragraphs before where it says mold. Be aware that die-off of the fungus or mold may create flu-like symptoms, including nausea and vomiting. People will sometimes muscle test for high doses of neem. Again, this is kind of what I was giving people until I found an herbalist, Scott Werner. Coconut oil, we were just talking about this, can be taken by a spoonful or can be put on the area. So those are things we just spoke about. Okay, let's go to page 148. It talks about how the baby had mold, and it was a new home. So it was kind of like curious, like this new home, and can a new home have mold? Absolutely. Could be in the basement. I know a lady who has some serious physical symptoms because she has mold in her basement. She didn't know this whole time. She was wondering why she was having all these physical symptoms. We just found mold upstairs in her house, and we were kind of shocked that it was there because it's a new building. But they're there, and my son was coughing a lot. I didn't know what it was. So now I know where his coughing is coming from. But one of the things you can test too with people is if it's in their home, in their old home, or in their workplace. Some people have a mold in their workplace and they're there 5 hours a day and then they come home. And so their symptoms get worse because they're still visiting that workplace. So I sometimes check that. Is it your home? This is no, it's your workplace. Somewhere there must be some mold there. I also get that, unfortunately, with like dirty electricity. One of my best friends who lives around here in St. George, he works for Southwest Airlines, and I'm guessing there's some heavy EMF going on. So I can test: is it his home that's unsafe, or is it probably the airplane itself? And we can already assume it's the airplane. I mean, there's just a ton of cords everywhere. I guarantee if I brought an EMF machine and tested it, probably no bueno on that one. So okay, let's go to page 149. So back to the taking antibiotics. Look what it says here. This is really interesting. I didn't know this. Common saying in the alternative healthcare community is that the body needs 7 years to recover from taking an antibiotic prescription. Now, I don't know where they got that number 7. Maybe it was muscle tested. But new evidence reveals that the body may never fully recover. That's fascinating. So now I know why my mother was so anti-antibiotics. Is she knew probably that there are people that had cancer that came to her office that maybe were affected by long-term antibiotics in their life. Okay, let's go to page 150. the second, no, the last, second to last paragraph at the bottom, it says, many people feel that the new emerging viruses are actually being created in laboratories either accidentally or on purpose. Sorry, I just said and on purpose. Hopefully, no government is hearing this video right now. But here's the reality: if you look up in the sky, if you look up, if you look up in the sky, if you see that there's 5G towers, where are they being built? Shame on them if they're building them near playgrounds where children are walking around all the time. Huge EMF affecting these kids. These kids are trying to have fun there. They don't know they're being affected. All of a sudden they start having asthma, sinus issues, body issues, fatigue, adrenal fatigue. They don't know why. Confusion, ADD. And it's because these things here. So then we got food. We have overly processed food, right? Where is the health food section? It's only one aisle. So the question is, where the 97%, where is the 97% unhealthy food? Right? So it's just really, really important to know that things aren't working for us right now. Also, in regards, we have water. Don't even look into a water pipe. I dare you to Google water pipe. There are diseases in that pipe and really heavy metals, lots of lead, you know. What to do? What? To affect your health, number one, and also to close your pineal gland, to close it down. So everything, what's coming from the air, what's coming from the ground, overly processed food, the water we drink, the pollution in the air, the EMF toxicity, our bodies are not the way they used to be in a moment where we were free of all this stuff. But what does this all promote? This promotes big pharma to give us medication. So it's all part of a plan. You know, so when it kind of jokes around like, hey, these are kind of human, man-made, why wouldn't that be possible? That actually makes a lot of sense. We have 9, 10, 15 things that are adding toxicity to our body. The government's not saying anything about it. When was the last time the government said, hey guys, your water is bad. There's lead in it. There's all these different things in it. No, just, and then the sad part is the poorer the area where you live in, the more ignorant they are. And they're so you're beating on the poor people. You want to take away the health of people that are already suffering, like kicking a horse while it's down. Yeah, they don't care. Why? Again, it all goes back to Cain, my opinion. Again, I'm going off on a tangent right now, but it all comes back to Cain and Abel. To kill a brother, to get ahead in life. And we live in a very Cain society where it's okay to kill a brother and to move ahead in life. It's okay to kill your neighbors as long as you get ahead in life. It's okay as long as we get a paycheck because we're giving you medication. It's okay for you to suffer your disease. And that is not the way God wants us to live. So be awake, be more aware. Most of the conspiracy theories, I always say, they're only theories for a couple of months until they're proven true. So a lot of things that you're reading about, toxicity everywhere, trust me, according to the diseases that Americans are having right now, you should believe it more. You know, we're like probably the unhealthiest country on the planet. And there's a reason for it. Big Pharma is roaming around trying to prescribe us. So healing modality and getting in touch with your body and its natural healing, I really feel like God knows why this is timely, is that our bodies are screaming for health. Our bodies are screaming to go back to how our ancient fathers used to heal themselves. And the world around us is just toxic. So just be aware that pathogens are involved in the body code. You can remove them energetically. If you have an herbalist around you that can give you specific things to detox, I would recommend to connect with them. Or you can muscle test neem and things like that. You can do that as well. But I would love to hear your feedback on pathogens. Again, if you want to get that fungal list, go on haveempathyandlove.com. Go on there and go ahead and look for a topic that says pathogens. And I'm going to have people comment on there. And people can you can add your feedback, what you've done to remove pathogens. And it'd be a really great thing to kind of have a great conversation about. So with that, hope you guys have a great day. Hopefully you gain some value from this. Comment below any comments that you have or any questions you have. Maybe I might answer you on YouTube or on Heal. And look forward to your feedback. And I will continue to read more of this book for you. All right, guys, take care.